So it would look like, in this case with Ken, the D is not fire. However, if the D is fire, get a cream for that.
I wanna have all night at the moon. I wanna have all night at the moon. Come on.
Hey pumpkins, how are you doing? I am Caroline Ironwill. I am a professional tarot consultant and certified coach practitioner. If you'd like to book a reading for yourself, you can do so at the link below, www.carolineironwill.com. Rates are going up significantly on January 1st because of a new partnership I have going on. More on that later. It has been a minute since I have done a video on my channel, and I love you and miss you all. I wanted to get this out before the breakup actually happens, because I think we all know that that's inevitable, but I really wanted to do a tarot reading today on Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ken Urker. I wanted to address a few things that I'd said in my first video, and I started off by saying, oh, well, the baby is obviously Ken's, there's no question about that. And I said that because I was taking Gypsy Rose at her word, and why would I take her word on anything? I mean, she's not exactly a reliable source. But I also see that Ryan is going to be a part of her life for a long time. So it could be that their, karmas are just intertwined. It could be that he's the father, and that's why. It could be that she actually goes back to him, not for love, but for other reasons. And we are going to have a look at that. But I don't think those two are done. And I think that is being orchestrated behind the scenes. I think there is a very real possibility that the reason he stays in her life is because he is the father. I understand that in Louisiana, because they're still legally married, that he will de facto be the father on the birth certificate. DNA test will tell, but yeah, I'm not ruling that out at all, and I think that he has a significant role in this baby's life. I am doing a Celtic Cross spread today. It is the most common spread in tarot, and I am using the Gilded Royale deck by Sierra Marchetti. You may wonder why I am not showing you the cards on the table, and I did a poll whether you wanted to see the cards on the table or my face, and you said my face, and I only have one camera, so I show you the cards one at a time. I will also not be looking into anyone's sexual identity or sexual preference. I think that someone's coming out journey is their own, and it is certainly not up to a tarot reader on YouTube to out someone. So that I will not be answering that question of whether Ken is or is not gay. Evidence tends to say that he's bi, and I don't know why that matters. Cheating is cheating, and if they are in a monogamous relationship, then that is wrong regardless of who with. All right, let's see. Whew. Huh. Okay. Don't you... Ooh. Don't you love when your tarot reader makes those faces? Yep. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, this all makes total sense. It tells a very clear story, and I will get into it. Before I get into the cards, I always like to do a general idea of what's going on in the cards. So we have 4 majors, a little bit more than usual, and the rest of our minors. Evenly split between 3 of the suits, but there is no wands. Wands can be about action, they can be about passion, they can be about anger. But when we're talking about relationships, especially when we're talking about sex, the wands tend to mean a man's wand, if you get what I mean. And so it would look like, in this case with Ken, the D is not fire. However, if the D is fire, get a cream for that. Okay, so let's look at this. Is Ken in danger is kind of what we're asking today. And we are looking at the 5 of Cups as being the center card, the significator card here. So this is all revolving around this. The 5 of Cups is about sorrow, is about depression, is about grief. And looking at this card here, it seems that their relationship has come to an end. Now, are they still living together? Yeah. Yeah. Ken doesn't have anywhere to go since the hurricane and is now staying in cutoff with the Blanchards. but also he's under contract with Lifetime for season 2. I'm thinking that after season 2 is done filming, he's not going to be around a whole lot more. Next card we have here, the Hermit reversed. I see the Hermit reversed often as like some sort of fraudster, some sort of like stereotypical, like, you know, wheeler dealer or used car salesman kind of person. And I think that this is the manipulation that Ken is under. And I think this is about, you can't leave me because I was raised by a single dad. This is your baby. Why would you do that to your baby? How dare you leave me? And that is giving her all of the leverage right now. He doesn't give a crap about the social media. He doesn't give a crap about the money. He doesn't give a crap about that stuff. He gives a crap about the baby. And we know that Ken's parents aren't together, so there's this whole thing of, I want this baby to have a dad. The reason why I say that money doesn't matter to Ken is because of this. This is the Three of Pence reversed. This is about like not loving your job. And right now, I mean, let's face it, Gypsy Rose's job is to be an influencer. Ken is a little bit on the introverted side. Ken does not like being in the spotlight. And everyone's saying that, oh, he's just with her for clout, or he's just with her for the social media money. And I don't think he would say no to money. He's not someone who's terribly ambitious and not someone who's really interested in being like filthy stinking rich. But being in the public eye is making him super uncomfortable. He is not liking being an influencer. And I think that one of the reasons he's not working right now, not only did he just have to move to Louisiana, but Gypsy is terrified because she has already been dumped by him once. And if he leaves, if he's at a bar, there's going to be other women there. She's not allowed to go to a bar, remember, although she clearly has. But she can't go anywhere where people are serving alcohol, and with the exposure that she's getting, obviously people are going to take photos of her, you know, supervising Ken, making sure he's not cheating again. So, yeah, making lives, doing interviews, that's Ken's job, and he hates it. In that way, I think that Ken might be a bit like Rod, in the fact that Rod just wants kind of nothing to do with it. He just wants to live with blinders on, go through his life, not think about anything, not really look at anything closer, and just, you know, la 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 la. But Ken doesn't have that option right now because of the social media. He just wants a simple life. And Gypsy is anything but simple. She is chaos. We're looking at past. We've got the Page of Swords. I always see the Page of Swords as being like the student card. So in the past, so you know, typically if I'm looking at anyone else's reading and I'm doing this, I'd be like, oh, you went to school in the past. But no, this is Gypsy being schooled when she was younger. So everything she is doing now, she learned as a kid. And the big face I made was this. The present card, which is the Fool reversed. Fool upright, when I am reading for a young lady, I always mention that it could be babies. Babies are brand new beginnings. Babies are bright and shiny. There's an innocence. This is reversed. This is hanging over Ken's head. Now, I said before in the last reading that I think the baby is going to have some special needs, whether she inherits the chromosomal disorder or not, whether the special needs are apparent right when the baby is born. I don't think so, but I think this baby is going to have more needs than Ken can handle for sure. Do you know who could handle those special needs though? Ryan. In my opinion, though Ryan certainly has some issues when it comes to his jealousy and his insecurities, I think that Ryan is probably the only one in this situation who has redeemable qualities. Because of that, I am rooting for him to be the daddy. I want him to be the baby daddy because Gypsy is not a fit mother. Because if it comes down to a custody battle between a convicted felon who took the life of her own mother and a teacher who works with special needs kids, that baby's going to dad. And I think that that baby would be so much safer with Ryan than with Gypsy. Do I think that Ken would be a good dad? I think so. I don't think he would be a terrible dad. I think also part of the reason why he's staying around is so the baby doesn't end up in the spotlight because he's hating it. When we look at the relationship between Ken and Gypsy, like when I saw her making the spaghetti, that video, when she's crying about how much time that they'd lost together and Ken wasn't even there, couldn't be bothered. This is kind of what I pictured. Or this, that relationship is not healthy. And we have seen what happens when Gypsy doesn't get her way when it comes to men. When Dee Dee tried to stand in the way of her being with her beloved, who was not Nick, was actually a man named Dan, we saw what happened to Dee Dee. Do I think that Gypsy would take Ken's life? No. Do I think that there may be physical violence when he tries to leave? Yes. I absolutely think that when Ken tries to leave, Gypsy will physically attack him. I also think that Ken is going to be very hesitant to report because there is so much speculation about his sexuality. Being beat up by a 5'11" pregnant woman is not going to make him feel really manly, so I don't think he's going to want to report it. And one thing that I did say in the last video is if it's a girl, she is going to want to name the baby Aurora Claudine. Claudine being Dee Dee's legal name. So the baby's middle name is going to be Claudine, after the woman who her mother took the life of. What's this? This is the Queen of Pence. This is all about the money. This is in the future position. This is what Gypsy wants, is the money. However, looking at the rest of this picture here, and we will get to it, that money's not going to last. So Gypsy is not a financial genius, and she doesn't see an end to her life as a F-list celebrity. She doesn't see how this is going to come to an end. Gypsy sees this is the rest of her life, and she doesn't understand that this is her 15 minutes of fame. And as I've said before, that 16th minute is coming, and it is not going to be pretty. So, Redan, Gypsy, and Ken, how Gypsy sees herself. 9 of Cups reversed. This is a wish not being granted. Ken is not her beloved Prince Charming. Ken is going to have had enough. Can you blame him? How others see her. The Empress reversed. Now, the Empress is the mother card. With this being reversed, there is a ton of pressure on her because everyone thinks that she's going to be a bad mother. With good reason. But it's not just the public who's going to see her as a bad mother. I think that she is going to be under intense scrutiny from Child Protective Services, from law enforcement about her parenting, and at some point is probably going to lose custody of the baby. I think that there is going to be a time when Christy has custody of the baby. I also think there is going to be a time when Dad has custody of the baby. So I think that Gypsy needs to be very, very careful with what she posts online, and very, very careful with what she does in public with that baby, because she is at very high risk of losing custody. Hopes and fears. This is my least favorite card in the entire deck, the Queen of Swords reversed. And it does not surprise me that this came up, because the Queen of Swords is a woman with an agenda. The Queen of Swords is manipulative. She is the queen of manipulation. This is someone who's 3 steps ahead. This is the stalker. This is someone who, if I can use an 80s reference, this is the kind of woman who's going to boil your bunny. The Outcome card. Magician. We're actually following this with one of my favorite cards in the deck. This is the Outcome, and this is Gypsy and how she is orchestrating this whole situation. I have always kind of squicked when people have said things like Gypsy is a master manipulator, because to be a master of something, you kind of got to be smart. And I don't think that Gypsy has a lot of foresight because she is so impulsive, but at the same point, like, she is orchestrating so much behind the scenes, and I think there's even a lot more that we don't know. When Ken and Gypsy finally end, would Ryan Anderson ever turn a pregnant woman, his wife, away from the door? No. He will take her back. That does make him a schmuck. But because he's also the only redeemable person in this story, as I said, his wife shows up pregnant, even if it is another man's baby, he would not turn his wife away from the door. He will take her in, and she will continue to manipulate him until she finds her next man, her next target, her next mark. It'd be funny if his name was actually Mark, but I think that this is a mess. It really is. What can I say except may the gods help this child. That was your tarot reading today on the relationship between Ken and Gypsy Rose. If you would like a reading for yourself, you can go to the link below, www.carolyneironwheel.com. As I said, January 1st, rates are going up significantly. I am working on a partnership with 2 other amazingly talented readers, and I need to increase my rates to reflect their rates. So as a result, January 1st, my rates are going up. So if you want to book at the current rate, you should do so now. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, pumpkins, and may you pray with a good fire.